Hey everybody, it's your buddy's pal Anthony. With me again is Sal. Say hi, Sal.
Hello, everybody.
I said say hi, Sal.
Hello, everybody. Hi, Sal. Hi,
Hi,
Sal.
Sal. That's the joke I was going for. And that's the end of the series. Haha. All right, so today we are talking about some old news, but very exciting news for us. We're going to talk about the HBO Max series for The Penguin, following the Batman universe and what we're hoping we'll see from that, how that can help them lead into a new or retconned DC EU or just DCU, whatever they want to call it. And a little show called Hawkeye has a familiar face, and a familiar name is back in the red just in time for the holidays. So, yeah, Steve, roll that intro, please. All right, so you gave us way more credit than we're due, which is nice, but way more credit than we're due, and you thought that the Rogue series was our idea.
Well, I didn't know. When you first brought it up, I was like, hey, that sounds like a really great idea. We could run with that.
We could run with that, and we will run with that, but I guess credit where it's due, it was somebody in WB's first. But, you know, they have so many shitty ideas, whatever. Yeah, so they're going to start with the Penguin, and it is Colin Farrell. It is set in the universe of the Batman, but that actually is, to me, it's a really great and really promising step to be taking, because it like streaming platforms, they're not going anywhere. The tie-in comic books don't really do anything for the most part. I mean, stop me if you disagree.
No, I agree.
But it's like getting somebody to, like, for us, the tie-in comics could do it for us because we're in it. But for the audience at large, they're not going to really go out and do that. They just want to go to the movies and see it, or they want to sit on their asses and binge stuff. So I'm very hopeful by that, because it's like, all right, great. You're going to give us an in with the Penguin. I don't know where it is timeline-wise, so I don't know if this is like the rise of the Penguin leading into the Batman, which would be kind of weird since the movie's going to be out by the time the series is out. But I mean, personally, I think it's really promising, because you can give us give us a GCPD story the way that Gotham should have been about the GCPD before Batman, or give us this story about the Penguin, Riddler, before they're the guys on the screen tormenting the guy with the pointy ears and the not hockey pads. It's
Now
just
that
like they could actually do something right, and that is so exciting, don't you
now,
think?
yeah, they haven't confirmed if they're doing the mutant penguin or they're doing Oswald Cobblepot as the fallen aristocrat for the Batman yet.
I think just from what I've seen in the trailers and the little bit I've read, because I've been trying to keep to the whole no spoilers thing, which is still working pretty good as of today, which is the 20th of December, and No Way Home is out, and I still haven't seen any extra trailers or anything.
I admire
Unlike
you.
some people.
Yeah, I admire
Unlike
you.
some people on this show.
Well, I mean, just the willpower that you have rolling through YouTube and not coming across anything. At the time of this recording, neither of us have seen it.
Yeah.
But there is so much, and people are being so disrespectful out there. It's really hard. I mean, I'm still hyped to see it, but it's still really hard not to run into anything.
Yeah, I mean, I see little things on Instagram as I scroll through, and I'm like, hey, oh no, keep going, keep going. But lest we ramble, yeah, no, it's I think it's like, it's just full on. It's not mutant penguin. It's gangster penguin. It's overweight man. Maybe he'll have a limp. He has the long nose, and I think it's going to be more like that.
Okay.
No flippers. So,
Oh.
which is fine. Like I liked. I can't think of the name of the stories, but I liked him better as crime guy versus some mutant. In the sewers, and that whole, like, the whole Batman Returns is good, but it's a little, like, I didn't care for that. Like, looking back, that's not like the best version of the Penguin. I think personally in the comics, the best version is what we've been getting, where he's a gangster more than like a Arkham Asylum lunatic.
Well, that's actually what I like his. I like the backstory they used for him in the Arkham video games, where he's a fallen aristocrat. The Cobblepot family was in close with the Wayne family, except his family fell off. He ended up bankrupt, and then that's how he got into crime through his connections.
Yeah, he was.
And I like
he
that
was trying
approach.
to restore his wealth, right? Was
Yeah.
that okay? Yeah, like so that's more interesting to me. Like he has enough
too.
crazy guys to fight. You know, I like the like the Long Halloween and Year One. We like the ground level nitty gritty stuff, like the supervillains and like the whole city of Gotham like in panic because of the blimps loaded with laughing gas. You know, that has its place too, but a good grounded story about a crazy rich guy in a bat suit, you know, that does it for me.
I would take anything Falcone over anything Man Bat and Mr. Freeze any day.
And to your point, HBO Max is the way to do that because we have the time now. We're not limited by like what pardon me, that was my lips, I swear, nothing else. And I told you guys in the post, for those of you on Instagram, I was gonna sound winded. Those Zippoles killed me. Sal helped.
They were delicious though.
They were delicious. Oh, not nutritious at all. But I digress. Like, what's the Batman movie running in at? Like, hour and a half, 2 hours, give or take, 2.5 hours at the most. Yeah. That's still not a lot of time to flesh out every single character that you would need to. That's where HBO Max can come in and give us the Maronis. A miniseries, you know, a 2-hour movie just about the Maronis where, like, you know, all you see of Batman is, like, the cape swooshing away because he's been doing surveillance on them or something.
Yeah.
You know?
So. I like the idea of they could do the Rogue show and they can cut, like, well, opposite of what you're saying, they can cut a lot of the bloat from the movie, too. So all the stuff that they would use for origin stuff, you can get away with it. You do these TV shows, these little 1-hour shows. Like, if we were to touch on, you know, if they were to touch on a Mr. Freeze, right? You could do the whole Dr. Freeze and Nora as they're still normal, and then you could do a mutated Dr. Freeze for the show. Like, once you hop into the show, Nora's already frozen, he's already in the power armor, and you can skip all that stuff.
Yeah, we don't have to see it because
if I see the Monarch Theater again and I see the Pearls in Crime Alley, I don't know. I might lose it.
Yeah, no, I don't need, even for Dawn of Justice, like, I didn't need the recap of who Batman is. I don't think anybody in the world needs the recap of who Batman is.
He's been around since 1939. Who else, like, how many times do you need to retell it? But
exactly.
You can get these little guys out of the way, and for the hardcore fan, where if you're going to go into a Batman movie and it's Mr. Freeze, you don't need to watch this 1-hour show. I mean, it would do good fan service to you, but you wouldn't need it. And you could jump right in. As long as they pick a villain that you're aware of, you're already on it.
Yeah, exactly.
For the more casual fan or someone that's bringing like their kids into it for the first time, then that's a good way to start. You'd start with the Rogue show. I think it's a great idea. I think it'll really help the DCEU going forward.
Exactly, because, I mean, it can work for him, and then obviously we don't know where he sits, like what Earth the Batman is taking place on, but you know.
Also, who has the time to make 22 films over 10 years?
Yeah, exactly.
They've already decided that's not the approach they want to take.
Yeah, because they tried jumping the gun. They tried playing. They wanted, you know, they did the Hail Mary, and it didn't really work for them. As you know, a couple of examples out there of that not really working in cinema. Steve, insert a funny graphic here.
Yeah.
He's like, damn it. He hated my my audio only review of Ghostbusters. Sorry for all the work, Steve, but I appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, I thought you did a good job. I liked it.
He did the good job. I just talked. He had to do all the hard work.
Because you got to get you in front of the camera.
Over my dead body. Whoa.
My dead body?
That got dark. I'm pretty sure if we have a dead body on camera, not only will the show be cut, but there might be some law enforcement entanglements.
Yeah.
Friggin' society we live in. But yeah, so okay, so you would like to see if they're doing this, you want to see a Mr. Freeze
Oh, definitely.
Let's call them series for lack of a better mini series. You know, like,
Actually, Disney has something similar. I believe they have like a Legend series where they recap certain characters. They could do something very similar. Instead, you make it like a higher production. Instead of recapping movies that already happened, you make a smaller film, a long TV episode,
right,
just to cover the gaps.
I haven't actually seen those. That's on, I guess, Disney Plus.
Yes.
Oh, I'll have to get on that.
Shameless plug for Uncle Walter.
Yeah, I mean, listen, they're a young company. They need all the help they can get. It's not like the mouse controls the world. Anyway, but so am I right in you want a Mr. Freeze series, movie, whatever they're gonna do as his origin? How cool would, and I think it's pronounced Ra's al Ghul from the animated series. I'm not going with the Batman Begins pronunciation of Rouges. No, how cool would a Ra's al Ghul series be where it's him like hopping through the ages,
That'd be
and like
fantastic.
him encountering like, I don't want to say Batman archetypes, but just like the hero archetypes. Am I saying that word right?
Yeah.
Him encountering heroes from like all through the generations, maybe they thwart him, or maybe he even succeeds. The villains don't always have to lose. That could be interesting for a little while.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not saying he sets up his own empire, because then that would be, counter to what we see in present day. But, just him going through the ages. Him and, I think he mentioned in the show, in the cartoon, like he references doing a march with friggin' Napoleon,
Well, I don't know how, in the comics, because I'm not the most read up on Batman, I don't know how long Ra's al Ghul is alive. But if you were to do like a Vandal Savage, you could almost do it like the Highlander TV show, like a Duncan MacLeod. And you can follow him through the early eras and the Victorian era and medieval eras, and you could just jump around anywhere on the timeline. You could start, you start with the caveman stuff.
Yeah.
And you could work your way to now.
Yeah. I don't have an answer to your question. I can find it out, but I think because Vandal Savage started out as a barbarian, so
yeah, he was like a caveman or something. Touched a meteor and something like that.
And I don't know, Raish's. I don't remember a year he was born, but yeah, I mean, but same sort of thing. It would be cool, a time hopping DC HBO Max series about a rogue or about the villain, and personally, I know you feel this way, but you can tell me why. I'm good on Joker. I don't need it. I do not need it.
DC has used Joker as a crutch for way too long. In the Arkham video games, they hung on Mark Hamill, they hung on the Joker in every single game. There's 4 games in that series, unofficially 4 games in that series, officially 3, and they've hung on the Joker every time. They go back to him. He's in every series of Batman. He's been in one of the movies. There's other people that you can use. There's other villains you can use realistically and that you can use respectfully and get a great movie out of. It doesn't have to be the Joker.
It doesn't have to be, and that's, again, going back to our point, that's where HBO Max comes in on this, because you can now test your guy out. You can test out Freeze. You can test out Ra's. You can test out the Riddler. Well, they're going to use the Riddler.
I've always liked the Riddler. The Riddler is one of my favorite Batman villains because he goes brain for brain with him. It's not a punch out.
Yeah, I enjoyed the episode. I think actually I read recently he was only in 2 episodes of the animated series. Those were 2 good episodes, like great episodes, really. I mean, of course, I didn't appreciate it at the time because I was a kid and there was no punching, really. But going back to watch it, those are 2, like the 2 I'm thinking of before they redid the animation style. Those are amazing movies. Those are amazing episodes. And I'm excited to see what they do with him, obviously, in the movie. But, there's so many... Of course, I'm blanking because we're going to have a conversation about it. So why wouldn't my brain fritz out? But, like I said, Al Ghul... I don't think Vandal is necessarily mainly a Batman guy, but it doesn't matter. But just to set up the rest of the universe.
Yeah, the point is jumping, like the Duncan MacLeod, because you've watched the Highlander TV show.
I love that show.
They cut back and forth to modern era, then they go back to the Renaissance, then they go back, to
Yeah.
like the Celtic 1100, and they go back and forth. You could do something similar with Vandal Savage.
Yeah.
And have
You
him
do
hit in
that
every
with him.
major era.
Exactly. I mean, give me a Lex Luthor on screen that I actually give a shit about. Beyond the land snatch guy and whatever the hell Jesse Eisenberg was all about.
There's a lot of depth with Luther, and they could go a bunch of different ways. And he's another one. I don't understand how they miss the mark every time.
Yeah, but they do every single time. Like the best Luther to date, and I'm sure Steve would agree with this, is Clancy Brown's animated Luther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Gene Hackman was terrible. Like I don't understand how they thought. I mean, I guess it's the 70s, but
yeah, it's the
I don't know how they thought that
70s.
was
The
work.
first one, like in Superman the movie, it worked, but like same thing. You had him in. He was in 3 of those movies, right? He was in the Quest. Like,
yeah.
He was in the first 2, and then he did the one where they had the Radiation Man, and then they finally, I think they dropped him in the 4th one when it was him and Richard, when it was Christopher Reeves and Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
And Evil Superman, which was funny.
Third one is what? Quest for Peace?
I think that's the 4th one because I think... No, you're right. The 3rd one is the Quest for Peace. That's with the Radiation Man. That's the last one with Gene Hackman. Mm-hmm. And then they do... I don't remember what the subtitle for the 4th one was, but they do the 4th one, and that's where eventually he gets like nicotine poisoning, and he, the evil version of himself.
We're sitting at the bar.
Yeah, we're sitting at that scene where it's Superman in the darker suit sitting at the bar, like flicking peanuts at supersonic speeds into the mirror because he's pissed, tying one on. They reference that, by the way. I know you don't watch the CW shows, and spoilers for the CW shows. They reference that in Crisis on Infinite Earths when Brandon Routh's Superman shows up.
Yeah.
He fights Tyler. I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
I think it's Heckman.
Is it? Okay, they those two their Supermen go at it because Brandon Routh is brainwashed for a minute, and at the end of it, they're like, "Oh wow, that was crazy," and he's like, "Yeah, that's actually not the first time I've gone crazy and fought myself." And total reference to the Christopher Reeve movie, so that was cool.
Well,
and Steve's not here to argue. I wanted Brandon Routh Kingdom Come Superman HBO Max show. Do it.
You and me, we're on this.
Yeah, we're on the same page. Steve, you owe us.
Who do I have to speak to? Who do I have to write letters to?
Well, clearly, I think it's Steve. I'm giving him a lot of credit. So
I can send a very small check to anyone. It may bounce, but I can send a small check if that's what they need.
I mean, maybe we should do a Big Lebowski and send him a toe.
Yeah. Nihilist.
Yeah.
Speaking of Tyler Hecklin, Morgan Edge, man.
Yes.
That guy, he's got to be my runner-up for the most punchable face in television in 2021.
And the award goes to?
Oh, Jack Duquesne. Hands down.
Okay.
Tony, what is it? Tony Dalton. Tony Dalton, man. I don't know what they did to cast him, but they did a great job. Like, hey, we need you to look like you're maybe, you're in your mid to late 30s, early 40s. We need you to look like you're in your mid 50s. The mustache is good. We need you to have the most obnoxious, punchable face in television. Can you do that for us? And he's like, yeah, I could square that away for you.
Yeah.
Every time he's on screen, man, and it shows you how good of an actor he is because every time he's up there, I hate him.
Yeah.
He's doing a great job.
Exactly. Then he should get a bonus.
Yeah.
I don't have one off the top of my head to see who I would want to punch in the face. I mean, I kind of want to punch Grant Gustin in the face just because I like the Flash to start, but it's just like, ooh, like, ugh.
We don't have enough hands to punch the people necessary in the face for messing up that show.
I'll probably break my hand before too long, At a certain point, the bones just give way, Sal.
Yeah.
You know? But, speaking of punching people in the face until you break your hand, do you know who is back in the red?
No.
A man by the name of Charlie Cox.
Really?
Uh-huh.
That was
Sorry.
No, I know I'm caught up with Hawkeye, so I found out about Vincent D'Onofrio, but I didn't know that Charlie Cox was officially announced.
Yeah, Kevin Feige, I always pronounce his name wrong. He said something along the lines of like, yeah, the next time you see Daredevil, it'll be played by Charlie Cox. And the internet just like, that's why you didn't know, because the internet melted. The internet is a melted pile of slag in the corner, and there's really nothing we can do with it anymore. Sorry, guys. It's all gone.
Pick up the pieces.
I don't know how you're watching this, but you are.
I don't know how I'm recording this.
It's a mystery. But yeah, spoilers. Sorry. Steve, go back 10 seconds. Put a spoiler for Hawkeye memo up.
It's only the next week.
How friggin' exciting is that? Both of them are back.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Like,
I liked him a lot as Daredevil. Season 1 is probably my favorite. Really, really believable. I thought he did a great job. Looking forward to having him back.
Yeah. So wait, you definitely liked him over Ben Affleck?
Oh, like who? I'm sorry, who? Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Man, that hallway scene in episode 2. That's
all the hallway scenes.
When I talk about like my favorite endings to an episode, man, there's that. And I know you haven't seen Game of Thrones, which you need to get on. It's like a tie in between that hallway scene, which is one take, and the ending of the Viper in the Mountain. I'll even send you the clip. Out of no context, it's still an excellent scene that you should be made aware of.
Okay.
So in modern television, those are probably my 2 favorite endings to any television show I've seen.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, those, I mean, nothing controversial in this statement. Yeah, those hallway fights, all 3 seasons, the hallway fights are just friggin' amazing. And even, you see, this is where everybody, like, rolls their eyes. They're like, oh, he likes anything. I don't like everything, but, I mean, even The Defenders, I think, had its good moments. And for the most part, the fighting was good. Anytime, as long as it wasn't Finn Jones saying, I'm the Immortal Iron Fist, it was good. Because, yeah, I forgot who he was from his show.
That was
I think he was the Immortal Iron Fist. I don't know.
No, he's not the fastest man alive. Oh no, it's the other guy.
No.
That's the other
it's
guy.
the other guy who constantly
has to remind you.
Has to say, "I'm the Immortal Iron Fist. I'm the fastest man alive." Yeah, are you though? Are you, Barry?
This week, as of right now, we're 6 minutes in. Right now, after the credits roll, you're the fastest guy.
Exactly.
There's still 27 more minutes left.
Yeah. It's like, oof. Okay. Here's a statement that didn't age well. The show's brand new. Yeah, it didn't age well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, good. Moving on. But yeah, I'm excited. I don't get a poker face on real quick. I hope I can speculate since I have not seen it as of this recording. I'm hoping he'll either show up in No Way Home. He doesn't have to be in the suit. I'm hoping walks in as Peter's attorney, even though he's denied that. There's going to be a She-Hulk Disney Plus show, and she's a lawyer when she's not big and green.
Yeah.
Let him be. I don't care. Have him walking out of the friggin' courtroom. Have him be her. I don't have any experience with this sort of stuff. Hang on. Let me give somebody a call, and then you have I forget her name. The actress Deborah. No, I remember Deborah Ann Woll, or something. Have her answer the phone. And, Nelson and Murdoch, or if they pick up from season 3, Nelson, Murdoch, and Paige.
Yeah.
I don't know why she'd be the secretary, but you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be a full-fledged suit-up anything. Like, I'm happy now that I know it's coming. Now, you know what? Tease me a little bit more. It's okay. They teased us with the concept of the multiverse in... spoilers for you. I'm sorry, but I already went too far.
That's all right.
They teased us with the concept of the multiverse in Far From Home, and it turned out to be subverted expectations, which we love on this show.
Yeah.
But now, like, it's the friggin' the head of Marvel has said it. So,
Well, I don't
come
know.
on.
I don't know if you're familiar. Well, actually, yeah, you are familiar. I gave it to you. Bendis has run a Daredevil. There's a good portion of Murdoch out of costume. You know, so
Yeah.
there's you. You could tell his story without it being Daredevil all the time. You know, it's the difference
Yeah.
between Bendis's run and I can't remember who wrote Shadowland. But the difference between that and Shadowland, you read the Shadowland stuff, and it's all costume stuff.
Yeah.
And Bendis does a lot of stuff with Ben. He does a lot of stuff with Matt out of the costume. He fits very comfortably with either persona you're going to run with.
Okay. I'll have to give that. I haven't read that. I think you lent it to me. I'll have to read it again because I think I'm actually balancing my iPad on it right now. But yeah, so that's crazy that they dropped that, and we weren't sure, but we looked before we started recording, and it is definitely Vincent D'Onofrio. Like when I saw it the first time, I didn't pause it. I was just like, "Oh my god, Kingpin!" And then I ran out to do whatever else I was doing that day. But I was like, "Is it really him? Is it D'Onofrio?" And then yeah, to us anyway, it's him, and I'm pretty sure he was credited like someplace as actually being back. So
I like him because he is a big guy, but he's not like comically big like how he's supposed to be in the comic books, and he's still very imposing. He's still a very scary looking guy.
You want to know the scene that probably got him the Kingpin role?
What's that?
Did you ever see the Dax Shepard's Chips
No, I haven't.
movie? It's I enjoy it. It's kind of like it's like one of those movies that if it's on, I'll throw it on, and if I don't have anything better to do, I'll watch it. But if either way, I'll still leave it on, and like
Chips like
I enjoy it.
Chips like the Highway
California
Cop show.
Yeah, like it's a remake. It's like they tried to make the TV show into a movie, and it didn't do well, but I enjoyed it.
Okay.
But D'Onofrio is in it, and he plays spoilers, the bad guy. And there's like this one scene. You send me your scene. I'll send you my scene.
Sure.
There's this one scene where I forget the characters' names. Ponch and the other guy and Dax Shepard go to question him, and he's at the gym, and he's working out, and like he's I don't know, he benches some stupid amount of weight, and then he just like gets up from that, walks right into the squat rack, and D'Onofrio is freaking crazy. He's actually squatting this heavy ass weight and doing it. And then he has this speech where, he just, like, they're trying to intimidate him, and then he just turns it around on them, and, like, basically they shit their pants and leave.
Nice.
And it's like, oh, okay, that's why he's the fucking Kingpin.
Yeah, you got to send it to me. I'll check it out.
I'll send it to you. Like, yeah. So, I'm excited. Like, it could also, who knows, like, what do you hope they keep from Netflix canon, real quick, if you could?
I liked Luke Cage a lot. Jessica Jones, take it or leave it. Defenders, I didn't really care for. One of the things I've always, well, I'm not going to say Daredevil because we already agreed that we want more of that. I've always thought that Heroes for Hire should have been in one of the early phases of the MCU. I think you could have done Heroes for Hire with little background. Make it two superpowered guys, and just have them run out and do it.
Yeah.
I didn't think that. I don't know why they weren't confident enough in Power Man to do like the Luke Cage thing, especially since Luke Cage is so popular in the comic books. He's one of the mainline Avengers.
Yeah.
At one point,
he was one of the big guys in the New Avengers when I started reading it.
He was one of the leaders, and that's when they made the team with him, Wolverine, Cap. Spider-Man, Daredevil, that
Ronan.
Yeah. So that team, if he was already one of the mainline guys in the comics, why are you so afraid to put him point? I think they should have went with something like that from the beginning. Maybe phase 2, early phase 3.
Yeah, I agree. I do think they should have definitely done since. I liked Luke. I mean, so I'm going to keep Daredevil. I enjoyed Jessica Jones. I think that was a good show and really well cast as well. David Tennant.
Yes, David Tennant.
Yeah,
the Doctor.
That was a crazy. He was amazing. And same thing. I didn't mind Luke Cage and then Iron Fist. Yeah. I think a Heroes for Hire would have been cool to do on Netflix if they had gotten to keep the rights more and like maybe to have fleshed it out a little bit more before they jumped into the Defenders. But now knowing how the rights weren't renewed, maybe they saw the writing on the wall and they just try to rush it. Who the hell knows? Mm-hmm. But yeah, if somehow they kept all of Daredevil and Jessica Jones canon, and even if they bring back in, I can't think of his name, the actor who played Luke Cage, but just redid his, like, what happened with him a little bit, I'd be okay with that. But I hope, just because, like, I hope they, at the very least, even if they wipe out the rest, just because their interactions were so good over he was in season 2 a little bit, but over seasons 1 and 3, he was, the Daredevil and Kingpin, that was so good. That story was so freaking good, especially obviously in the first one. They were firing on all cylinders.
Yeah.
But I hope they bring that in, and it would continue what Hawkeye has done and give us like a breath of fresh air in terms of realism.
Yeah.
For the definitely. MCU, that's missing. It's not just oh, I have the 10 rings, and now, as you and Steve have told me, and I haven't seen it myself still, but like now I'm going to jump all over the scaffolding in a fight with no superpowers.
Well, actually, the rings came later. He didn't have any superpowers or in the scaffolding fight. And the scaffolding fight
that's my point.
Oh, okay. The scaffolding fight is probably the best scene of that whole movie.
Oh.
Well, I liked it.
Okay, my mistake. I thought I remembered you guys. Well, no, but you said it was good, but you guys were saying, stop me if I'm wrong, weren't you guys saying it was good, but it was also like a problem with the MCU because it shows like, well, why is he able to do all that? He's just a dude.
Yeah, without spoiling it, there's a couple other problems that there's a big problem that the ending of the movie sets up, but you would have to at least get through the first portion probably to realize why it's a problem.
I mean, I just have so much to do lately. You know what's going on, so yeah. I do try, folks. For those of you listening, I try not to just talk out of my behind. But
do you mind if I go back to Hawkeye for a second?
Oh, Jesus, Sal. Yes, go ahead.
Spoiler free though. So one of the things I like about the show is they actually touch on Hawkeye being a government assassin, and usually he's like the butt of the jokes on the team, especially like in the MCU movies. The MCU Avengers, they don't really, I feel like he doesn't get the same respect as some of the other guys. And now you watch Hawkeye and it's like, oh yeah, he is our top, I wouldn't say top because they already, who number one is. He is their he is their number 2 assassin. Well, now he's the number 1, but he was S.H.I.E.L.D.'s number 2 assassin. To the point where he's such a good assassin, I think a lot of people forget that they sent him to take out Thor. When you put that in perspective, it's like, oh, that's the guy they sent to beat Thor. Oh. Well, what, they didn't know it was Thor. They were just watching the hammer. They didn't know it was
Thor.
But still.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the guy you put on point.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, now I'm not going to give him the credit to say that people thought he can take out Thor.
Oh, no. I mean, look, he wouldn't have beat him.
Yeah, okay.
He wouldn't have beat him. But that's the guy that they thought they could put in front. Like, hey, we have a problem. We need him to solve it.
Yeah, okay. And I just have a Vanilla Ice song in my head now because of the way you said that. Thank you.
Well, for copyright, we won't go into it.
Yes.
Yes. We don't have to cut Brian May a check with money I don't have.
Yeah, exactly. Neither one of us have. Steve either.
Yeah.
Maybe Aaron. Aaron, mention in the comments, do you have enough cash to cover us for a copyright lawsuit? You're doing well down there, right? Florida is thriving. But yeah, I agree. They're showing like this show, and some people say, "Oh, it's such a slow build." It's called what I said before. It's teasing you. It's teeing you up. It's not the movie where you have to get everything banged out in 3 acts, and otherwise, you can build things up. There's something to be said for having to wait for something. I actually kind of like it's grown on me waiting a week to watch everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's like they used to do back in the olden days.
I'm currently into The Witcher, and the same thing. I think Witcher season 1 came out around the same time as Mandalorian season 2, I believe,
Okay.
and they were both released around the same time. The Witcher came out all at once, and The Mandalorian was every week.
Yeah.
And it felt. I'm a big fan of the games, so I didn't mind watching the show, but the build up for The Mandalorian was much better. Waiting for every Wednesday morning, you know.
Yeah.
Waiting for every Wednesday morning for it to come out, instead of having all 8 to 10 episodes available for you on the first day. Because then once you run through it, I ran through the first season of The Witcher in like 3 days, and it's like, so what's next?
Yeah, and it's
what's next?
taking you, what, 2 years because of the thing going on in the world to get a new one?
But The Mandalorian, it's you watch it, and then it's like, hey, did you see it last week? Did you see it last week?
Yeah.
Are you excited for this week? Are you excited for the one after that? You know, it's a different approach.
It's better too for like shows that are long, because like those are hour-long episodes.
Yeah.
And like I'm not even gonna lie, I have to finish season 1. I was starting and I got kind of confused, and then they lost me.
I'd have to walk you through it. It's a whole. I don't know if we have the time to get into it,
thing.
but we could do it.
Yeah, we definitely don't. But like, yeah, there's something to be said for the shorter episodes too. Like, you want more, but if you have a very good quality episode, can you really complain that, oh, it was only 45 minutes without a commercial?
Yeah.
That's a solid 30 or 45 minutes of show.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if it's good, again, you don't need it. And then it gives you stuff to think about between things. Like, one of the problems with Jessica Jones was I would binge it, and I had to force myself to stop at the end of the episodes because they were very good episodes, and it was just like too much for me to process. I mean, who knows? I'm just not that smart. But it was just too much for me to process. You know, I needed to sit and think about it, and like, you know, because also that was very much like there were parts of it where it was like a mystery, especially in the last season. So I needed the time to think about it. You know,
I've been doing the same thing with Superman and Lois. I know the season's already over. Season 2 is right around the corner, but I bang out, you know, maybe 2 or 3 episodes a week, and I try not to do them back to back. And it's 15 episodes, and I'm working my way through slowly. I think I'm up to 14 now, just because.
Oh, so you're right there.
Yeah, just because I want that, like, I'm making that build up for myself. You know, it's like forcing my own build up for it. Because otherwise, I would blow through it, and then it's like, okay.
Yeah, then
where's the next one?
The meme where you're standing in a park alone, looking around.
Yeah.
Oh, this is fine. This is fine.
I had the same problem. I mean, with all the global affairs right now, I had the same problem with The Boys and the same problem with Umbrella Academy. Where are they? At least The Boys, they've been announcing stuff. There's been some kind of teasers and behind the scenes stuff. Umbrella Academy, nothing at all.
Yeah,
crickets. And it's like, hey, that season came out. I banged it out in over a weekend, and I loved it. Where's season 3?
Yeah.
You know, it's
exactly.
At least if it was a slow release, granted, it would still be over 8 weeks or 10 weeks, but it still would have been something to build up to than blowing it out in a weekend.
Yeah, exactly. And it depends. Sometimes I do, but sometimes a binge is good. But for first viewing, I think as long as it's good quality, I think there's something to be said, as you do too.
Yeah.
Having to wait. Let's see here. Was there... My brain is failing me. We had something else. Give me that look one more time. I'll come through that screen. You'll see my fist before you see my face. Yeah. So,
well, we can talk about...
All right, screw it. I want to talk about it. You haven't seen the movie, and you're not that big on them, I take it. But I'll try. I'm gonna see if you can. If you're in the mood to toot my horn, did anything of Ghostbusters, my Ghostbusters Afterlife review, do you have like even like the barest inkling of a desire to kind of see what this is about, or any of them are about?
Yeah, no, I'm familiar with the first two movies.
Yeah, well, as well you should be.
Yeah. I'm familiar with the first two movies. I remember them pretty well. Not that the new movie coming out wasn't like the highest priority on my list to get out there and see. Mm-hmm. But after seeing your review, it's good to know that you're coming from a fan approach. And as a fan, you appreciate what they did. And it does make me want to go see it.
Yeah. And I think it was you and I who were talking about it, or maybe I mentioned it to... No, I think I mentioned it to Steve on the show when I was on Hey Archer Live, a recent Thursday evening at 8:15. There were a few technical issues.
Standard.
Do you agree with I still haven't found the quote, I apologize. Do you agree with the quote I gave from Kevin Smith's opinion, where it was like, once you decide to go down the sequel road, you're more or less in the business of nostalgia. Because like I said in the review, and I've talked about it with some other friends since then, it's so nostalgic. It's at times, as I said in the review, it's too nostalgic.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it hit just the right balance for me. But would you agree with Smith's rough thoughts?
To an extent, yeah. I feel like if nowadays, more so nowadays, if you're making a sequel, there better be a wink and a nod, or some kind of Easter egg, or something leaning towards the last movie. I don't remember that always being necessary. You got what's another movie series with a long series, like Lethal Weapon. Lethal Weapon never leaned on the other movies. Maybe towards the end, like Lethal Weapon, what was it, 4?
4?
Yeah, maybe 4 leaned on the other movies, but that's the fourth one. Yeah. 2 and 3 didn't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Empire and Return didn't do that. You're talking about a different era of movie making. But then you watch 1, 2, and 3, but 1, 2, and 3 were made. 1, 2, and 3 were made as a wink and a nod to, Hope, Empire, and Jedi.
Yeah.
That's a whole series of strictly nostalgia. It's become the thing. That's the business of making movies right now.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I mean, look, as long as you could tell a good story too. But that shouldn't be.
Well, that's where I say this Afterlife succeeded, because it told a good story, and as the now old man in the theater, I was the one like giddy and like rocking in my seat and like excited that oh my god, they're talking about it. Okay, I know what they're talking about, and but still interested beyond the okay, well, they talked about it. I can go now. They mentioned that thing from my childhood. I can go now. I'm satisfied. I still wanted to see where it went. So.
Yeah.
Well, I do hope you get around to see it, especially one day. Not that it matters, but your little human can see them, and you can remind her that she visited someplace that's very familiar in those films.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there? Sorry, guys. We're both very stressed today, but our brains are melting, and much like the internet, our brains are melting down.
You can't see from the inside of the belfry, but the sun has been down for some time now.
Yes, and normally that's our operating hours, but we're both old now.
Yeah,
it had to happen eventually.
Let's see. What else did I want to touch on? I hate that the snap is called the Blip.
Oh, thank you. Damn it. I'm sorry. Yeah.
You want me to run with it? I'm going to run with it.
Oh, yeah, run.
God. Okay. I hate that the snap is called the Blip. I think that completely takes away from what it was. Dusting. I think dusting sounds a little bit better, at least like from a marketing perspective. But The Blip. Oh.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, I know our show, like my segment, is entirely based on the Blip and the snap, but the idea of the MCU snap, I hate it. I hate it. Doesn't make any sense at all. And this is I guess I'll go on a small tangent.
Mm-hmm.
Small tangent. Keep it short. In the comics, there was a reason for the snap. You know, Thanos is trying to, in the Infinity Gauntlet series, Thanos is trying to convince Lady Death about how powerful he is and that she's the matron of death. So what could he give her? He can give her more death. You know, so I'm so powerful now with the snap of my fingers, I can wipe out half the life in the universe. And snap. And does it.
Yeah.
Right? The Infinity Gauntlet's very different in the comics. And I understand creatively the change they made in the movies. Because in the comics, as long as you have the stones, you're in tuned. And that's it. There's a really great scene. If you haven't read it, I recommend it. There's a really great scene in the panel in the Infinity Gauntlet issue where he's fighting all these aspects of the universe, and it's supposed to be you can't wrap your head around it. So it's basically just a Thanos in the middle with a picture of all their heads around him and just swirling rainbow energy. You're not supposed to be able to understand that. When he's fighting the personification of infinity, eternity, order, and chaos, you can't possibly imagine that. So the workaround in the movies was the clenched fist. That's the trigger. You know, so he wants to use a stone, clench the fist, stone gets activated. That whole part on Titan is based around that concept. They're trying to keep his palm open so he can't clinch to activate them. So why snap your fingers? It takes away all the importance from him snapping his fingers because you've already established that the trigger is the fist. Hate it.
Yeah. I have more of an issue, like the snapping.
Snapping.
No, I don't have as much of an issue with him snapping his fingers. I have more of an issue that it was said like 5 times in the movie, and it's like you're all supposed to be aliens. That's a very human reference. You know, it's like the same way in Man of Steel, Steve, how Zod crossed an ocean of stars to get to you. How the hell do you, like, what? Yeah. That seems like a very, like, I don't know, like, human expression, you know? But, yeah, my main issue, not some, I mean, it's a good point that you point out, but my main issue is the blip. Calling it the blip is such, because it makes it's softening what really happened, which was mass murder.
That's why,
and
at least
again,
the
I get
dusting.
it's a Disney show. Yeah, the dusting would be something, but I mean, it seems like they're trying to. It's annoying, like calling it the blip, and the fact that they were gonna clearly continue to refer to it as the blip, is just like, man, you guys. That's just like how soft you guys want to go now. You can't. You have to have everything hunky dory. Again, you can't even reference the fact that half the universe was wiped out and brought back. You brought him back in the end, but you don't want to make reference to any of this.
Okay. When you're playing with mouse money, you're playing with mouse rules. All right?
Yeah.
What Uncle Walter says goes.
Yep. He's still giving the orders from that Futurama glass head in a jar thing. Now we're going to get pulled because I mentioned that show. Sorry, we made it an entire episode.
Well, the mouse owns Fox too, so.
Oh.
And we're done.
Yeah. Jeez. Huh. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they bought.
Interesting.
That's how they got all the X-Men stuff.
Oh, duh. I did know
Fantastic
that.
Four,
It is late,
X-Men
folks.
stuff.
I apologize.
It's kind of a big deal, like, I don't know, like a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
All right. Yeah, all right. There's egg on my face, but nobody can see it. Haha. So, all right. Yeah. Thank you all. Thank you, Sal, for for being here and chit-chatting, rambling with me, if you will. Be sure, everybody listening, to tune in Thursday nights, 8:15-ish, for a little show we call Hey Archer Live with our buddy, our pal, Steven. And, new episode of The Snap coming sooner than later, I think.
Working on it. We got a couple really great ideas that I'm pitching around.
Yep.
One
man's a thinker.
Yeah, one I got more legs on than the other, but definitely a couple of things I want to work on.
Yeah.
A couple things I'm looking to give to you guys. Merch stores in the bottom.
Dirty.
Yeah, merch stores in the bottom. You want t-shirts, stickers, mugs. You're looking for it, we got it. Check that out.
All right. Thank you very much, man.
Good night, Anthony.
Good night, everybody.
See ya.